Hello and welcome to the Gauntlet podcast. I'm Zach. This is Dom. This week we are reviewing the movie The Patriot, starring Mel Gibson.
Why is this potent? Because it's almost the 4th of July, right?
Exactly.
So wait, will this come out? Yeah, it's almost the 4th of July, like 5 days before the 4th of July. So
yes. So we thought it very appropriate to do a movie on the Revolutionary War.
I got my hat on. The
yes.
American flag hat.
Yes, I don't. I wish I had one.
Appropriate.
Very appropriate.
This is one of those movies that I've known of my entire life. It came out in 2000, so when I was 2. But just it was one of those big kid movies that I couldn't wait to watch. You know, like I was so excited. It was like that. I forget how old you had to be, like 12, 11, maybe.
Before I had to see, before I could see it, I had to be, well. The rules in our family got less as the younger kids grew up. So I had to be 13, I think. You were probably 12 or 11.
Yeah.
And then Nathaniel saw it whenever. He was probably 9.
Yeah, probably. It's probably right out of the womb.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it was always one of those, I had like big expectations for it, and did not disappoint. I remember as a kid, I'm just sitting on the couch, and the bad guy in this film got me so hard. I hated him more than any villain I'd seen before, and I realized, holy crap, how that's
the bad guy.
I hated him so bad.
You hated him, yes.
I hated him so hard. Dude, like just the way he just, well, we won't spoil it yet, but it just goes one by one and just anyway, it goes through. Yeah.
I remember, so my first, I guess you could say my first interaction with this movie was, do you remember? So we grew up close to a big zoo.
Yeah.
Called the Henry Dorley Zoo.
Yeah. Second in the nation. Go check it out.
Yes, it's very cool in Omaha, Nebraska. Anyway, I remember walking into the doors, and they always had this way of making it feel epic when you walked in.
Yeah.
They had music playing. Yeah. Do you remember they were playing one of the songs from Patriot? Wasn't it?
They were like the whole museum or like an exhibit?
Just when you walked in, it was a dun 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 dun.
They were playing that?
They were playing that. And I remember thinking, I thought it was Eric Janis music.
Really?
A friend of our father's.
Right.
He plays music. I thought it was his music. And then eventually I saw the movie and I realized it was from there. Yeah. And so anyway, which makes sense because that movie was relatively recent. Well, not, I guess, well,
5-ish, within 5 years, maybe.
Within 5 years, maybe.
It was like 2005.
But yeah, so that's cool.
That is cool. I didn't know that.
We'll get to the music later too.
Oh, dude. This might be a goal.
I feel okay. I don't know. This is becoming. That's not a problem, I guess. I guess we had quite a few films in a row.
We had quite a few that didn't.
Where it was kind of a rough road. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get excited when we pick movies we really like because we love to talk about them. Yes. But that means they're obviously most likely going to make it. But who knows? Maybe not.
I mean, we've watched this movie so many times. We quote this movie. We have quirks about it. Like it's so threaded, within us, I guess.
I gotta say this movie is perfect. And the story is so accurate.
That's funny because if you see the movie, you'll know what he's talking about. You'll notice he says it twice.
Historians might say it's something different, but from a movie standpoint,
historians have a lot of qualms because they made it.
They changed some things.
Benjamin Martin wasn't, the stand-up. Well, he was, but basically, anyway,
he wasn't a perfect man, and they made him seem more perfect in the story.
Right, they made him seem more perfect.
More perfect. Yeah. But okay, let's jump in.
Right, we gotta get in here.
So, I have Rotten Tomatoes pulled up, and I gotta say, I'm not happy with this.
Why? What have they done?
The tomato meter gave it a 62%.
What?
But the audience score is 81%, which says something there.
The people know.
Exactly, the people know. I don't know what these people were smoking when they watched this movie and decided to review it, but I don't get that. IMDb gave it a 7.2 out of 10. So, I mean, strong score, but
yeah,
I think it should have been.
I like to see that higher.
Yeah.
Right.
But okay, so some of these comments, I'm surprised a little bit on some of these negative ones. So, all right. So this is the first negative comment. This person says, actually, this is also a top critic. Like, it says when they're top critics and when they're just like some rando commenting.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
This is a top critic. This person says, the main irony, of course, lies in the film's title, which suggests that the absurdity flag-waving activist should be taken at face value despite the ample evidence that defending his country is the last thing on his mind. Okay.
What?
That makes no sense in the fact that that's this character arc.
That makes
of course,
no
sense. He isn't fighting for patriotism until his character arc ends at the end when he realizes his son who just died is correct because of the flag he's been mending the whole movie.
Exactly.
He doesn't fight out of patriotism until the last battle.
Right.
Where he even takes and puts aside his revenge to go hold the line instead of seeing the guy he wants revenge on.
The line is false.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this person doesn't get it, I feel. Yeah. Like that's the point. That's the character arc of Benjamin Martin.
Right.
In the movie.
It's the completion of the story, right? Which like doesn't happen till the end of the story, obviously. So it's like, because like even before he's fighting for his family, right? After he loses one son, he wants to save the rest, right? So he's fighting for his family.
Yeah.
But it's not like for the cause of the country until the end.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So anyway, that I totally disagree with that one.
Yeah.
All right. This person also is a top critic, and they say, make no mistake about it, The Patriot is a cartoon, even if it does have real people playing the parts.
What?
So this person just didn't like it because that's all they could come up with, I guess.
Are they saying like it's cliche in its preachiness of America? In which case, what the hell? That's awesome. And
it's about the Revolutionary War, so that's
of course it's going to be all about America. Like
they fought and died for that, so they were feeling the revolutionary.
They're pretty strong in that.
Exactly. So I don't really get that one. I'll do one more because there's quite a few of these interesting ones. This person says, and this person is an independent.
Oh, good. Okay.
So not a top critic, but they say, no fond chuckles, please.
What?
It's abominable. And to take any pleasure in it would be to resemble those followers of pro wrestling who know it's all fake, but still cough up top dollar to get ringside and holler.
Permit me a fond chuckle. Because holy crap, that's ridiculous. What the hell?
I don't get it. He says they know it's all fake, but still get ringside tickets and holler.
Okay. Number one, all movies are fake. Point two, this is actually about something that happened.
Yes, they're more.
It's not a Mad Max.
Like exactly, and maybe these people are so PO'd about it because it's not like a history book.
Right.
Well, guys, movies take a story in history.
Yeah.
Have some creative license with it.
Yeah.
And then make it. They make it an attraction.
They make it human.
Exactly.
Like you're not gonna like most stories in history weren't as epic as they were on the surface because of course there's like little specks of valor and glory thrown in over the years to make it more but like of course you'll see that in a movie, and I'm not about to judge a movie for making something look glorious. Like of course it's a movie, so
I agree totally.
It'd be like it wouldn't be a movie. There'd be no movie if it wasn't, amped up at all. Because what's the point of seeing that? It's boring,
Yeah,
anyway.
I feel like these comments really reflect the 62%, but doesn't reflect the general populace of people who actually want it. Like this person gave it,
Which is what the movie's about. It's about
they didn't say it was rotten, but this top critic, even with a thumbs up, says its convictions may be half baked, but it has the courage of them. So I don't understand these people. This person gave it a thumbs up too, but it says many graphic battle scenes not for all teens. So I don't know. They don't really have much to say about it. This person says a good
I always
yarn.
loved the battle scenes as a teen.
I know, me too. This person says a good yarn with the sense of the weight of history and an awareness that the winners are often those who have lost the most. Okay, that's not too bad.
Hey, I can take that.
Yeah. This person says, who also gave it a thumbs up, or the tomato stamp of approval.
Right.
Patriot is heavily concerned in rewriting and reconceptualizing America's bloody revolutionary history. Again, it's a movie. They had to, work with it. They couldn't just, it wouldn't be interesting if they followed the history book.
All good stories deserve embellishment, to quote Gauntlet.
This person is the only one who actually seemed to like it, even though with the tomato.
That's crazy.
The use of the language of the movie's time. No, to use the language of the movie's time, the Patriot deserves a wholehearted, full-throated roar of huzzah.
Huzzah. Oh, that's right, because they're all going huzzah when he writes.
Exactly.
That.
So, okay, those are interesting.
Nice.
I don't agree with like 99% of them.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
But
damn.
Anyway, enough of that. Let's break into some movie breakdown, since we did spend a lot of time on that. Actually,
yeah,
we have about 35 minutes.
I mean, as we tend to go, the first few are really deep, and then as we get into writing and music, it becomes more like it goes faster.
It does go quicker. Yeah.
Okay, movie breakdown. Mm-hmm. So I saw the extended last night, right? Which I'd only seen once before, so this makes the second time's toast. And I had totally forgotten there's certain scenes that just come up, and because I've seen it so many times, my brain's like, wait a minute, what? That's not that. This is an extended scene, because holy crap.
Yeah.
And they really do. It's just like Gladiator. It adds so much potency to the movie and to the characters. Like for instance, because when Mr. Martin makes the comment in the courthouse that this will not be fought, this war won't be fought on battlefields, will be fought in our backyards. Our children will learn of it with their own eyes. And then a few scenes later, his kids literally see a bunch of soldiers' bodies floating by in the river, and they're like traumatized by it. It just makes that line so much more potent, because it happened, right? Like it's not just conjecture. And even like Aunt Charlotte too. There's a scene where, because she's rich, right? She has everything. And when they go to the beach and to live in the village, and they walk into the little shack there, and they're like, we'll put you up here, it'll be cozy and dry. And she's looking around, and she's like so shattered and horrified that they don't live here. But then she turns around to the kids and she's like, it's beautiful, so that's great for her character too.
Well, and also like that gives some depth, because I feel like of all the characters, Aunt Charlotte gets busted on the most.
She loses so much. Yeah, she does.
I mean, she's anyway.
That's good. Never mind.
But anyway, yeah, I feel like she gets busted on the most, at least in our circles that we hang out with. But yeah, that's good. I forgot about that scene.
Yeah, because I mean, and there's a lot more political talk too in the extended, just about the situation. It's more historical too. If the critics had seen the extended, they might have had better things to say. Yeah, because there's a lot, like they maybe cut it out because it was too boring. Because there's a lot of really scripted. The Continental Congress is doing this means they're going to launch a Declaration of Independence, blah blah, almost like it's a history book. So they might have liked that. But yeah, so there's a lot more of that in the extended. But just aside from all the extended stuff, the way it fits together is, I think, it's pretty perfect. It's perfect.
Pretty perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect does. What about you?
No, I agree. Yeah. Like it's. And the story there's a sense of simplicity about it.
Yeah.
But there's also a sense of depth though in the simplicity.
Yeah. The balance is great.
The story of and there's enough plot twists to make it not predictable. So because the story of somebody doesn't want to get involved in something until they lose something dear to them, and then they get involved. That's a familiar story trope.
Yeah.
But the setting is what makes it unique. Like last week we talked a bit about the trope, but Avatar was different, and maybe Last Samurai was different with the same story trope.
Right.
This trope is also different in the sense of it's Revolutionary War, and that setting in itself catches the eye a bit more than maybe something more contemporary.
Right.
Or even straight up medieval. I feel like that's been done a lot.
Right.
That story trope of revenge, and oh my gosh, you took this, now I'm going to go revenge and train and then revenge.
Right.
This one is different in the sense of it happens twice, and you think, I remember reading the back of when movies had cases,
Yeah, back.
I read the back, the little synopsis on the back.
Yeah.
And it said when Benjamin Martin loses his son, it drives him to go fight.
Right.
And I always thought it was just Thomas.
Yeah.
And then they throw in Gabriel. Like there's plot twists that change the story, even though some of it's familiar.
Right.
But there's still simplicity to it. But then they make it deeper.
Right.
So I really liked how they did that. And then just the seamlessness of drawing all this. And like it's a 2.5 hour long movie, I think.
Right. And you're never bored.
You're never bored.
Because like
and everything moves. And I love how they like movies that move, stories that move. Like everything is essential. And I know obviously movie makers know that. But sometimes I feel they still don't get it quite right, which obviously the audience can tell, even if they don't know it, because it reflects on the fan base, the money, the box office, all that stuff.
Right. It's all affected.
So, this movie just flowed. It flows.
See,
like it just, oh my gosh, we need to do Super 8 one of these
Super
days.
8.
That would be a good one.
That's a good one too.
If you guys
okay, so
I guess because of the line from there, we just quoted the line, and so
if you knew what we were saying, let us know below.
Exactly.
Character development. I think the real character of note, more characters develop, but obviously it's Mr. Morton, clearly, right?
Exactly.
So because clearly, in the beginning, holy crap, that's true. He has a past, right, of being a badass soldier, but he's scared to let it out. Because of what he did. He's what's the word? He feels guilt, all that stuff, shame. He's
scared he can't control it if he lets it out again.
Right. So but witnessing him actually letting it out, finding a reason enough to conquer. Because think about it, that's a pretty strong fear, or why. His why for not acting is pretty strong, because he literally butchered tons of dudes,
in horrible ways.
Butchered,
he literally butchered them.
Yeah. So that's a pretty strong why. But when his family's involved, just getting it all. It's one of my favorite scenes is when they're going to rescue Gabriel right after Thomas dies. And sure, he lets it out, but in that case, good on him, because holy crap, they just shot your son. So, and his kids see that. His sons see that. They're like, what, 12 and 10 or 9, anything like that. But basically, from where he starts the beginning to the end, becoming the Patriot, right? Instead of what the critics said, where he's not fighting it for the cause. He literally
flag waving activist. I'm like, what?
It's a flag waving, he's a patriot. We're fighting for.
And the thing is, the movie is his story and journey of becoming the Patriot,
right? Which
happens at the end. Anyway,
okay.
Ridiculous comment.
Okay, this next dude.
But wait, what?
What about you on character development?
I loved, so like you said, and kind of how he broke down that comment, where he's scared to let out what he did in the past, and he, in a way, Gabriel doesn't know why he's hiding behind his family,
right? And
because he hasn't seen the side of his father. Right. So what's interesting is Benjamin Martin needs to conquer this within the story time frame of the movie. So it starts out where it's he kind of has a crutch with his family, even when Thomas dies and he goes to fight with Gabriel. But what's interesting is even after Gabriel dies, that is when it actually becomes hardest for him to keep it within, because when he goes back to fight and he does see Tabington there, that is his final test. Will he let the beast out and just go red with bloodlust and bloodbath, or will he conquer it and actually go do something which will help save more lives, end the battle and win the war eventually, and there's no family there to lean on because they're dead, which actually, his sons are dead, which actually makes his rage even more potent.
Yes.
And that's his story arc, and at the end he overcomes it, and he makes the right decision and goes and holds the line instead of beamlining at Tabington and cutting him up,
which is even strong. Good on him, because Tabington, that guy, just such a
my gosh, they did it.
So
is that who you were going to start talking about next?
Yeah, exactly, dude. I
Yes.
feel like, Kate, there are a few movies that have such a awesome antagonist versus protagonist relationship going on
Oh yeah.
because they only meet like 3 times throughout the entire movie. No, 4 times technically.
But each interaction is so incredibly potent
Yeah,
and just
3 times.
laced with
Yeah.
something
Oh yeah,
atomic
because well,
energy.
in the one hand, he's killing his son, and in the second one, like they're in the middle of the British fort and everything, the stockade, so they can't really do anything. And the third one, he kills him. So it's kind of like their interactions are
Yeah.
very big. But just to me, I like instead of just saying he's so annoying or he's such a bad guy, it's like let's breaking that down even deeper. It's like he's got daddy issues,
Mhm.
he's just a really hateful guy because he's been so burned, and he's been so, I think, based on what he says, when his father squandered
Which
the entire inheritance.
I loved how they dropped in a little bit of detail
Yeah,
to make him rounded, but they didn't focus so much on him because the story needed to focus
the
on like
story wasn't about
Gabriel,
him.
Benjamin
Yeah,
Martin. Yeah,
yeah,
but I loved how they did
yeah.
that. Yeah.
It just makes him like he's so angry at the world and about his life and about where he is, and he wants to be better, and the only way to get out of his pain is to win
Never lose.
by
Yeah. You
any
gotta win.
means necessary. So I
Yes.
think it's not that he wants to torture people. It's that he sees torturing people as the only way and the quickest way
The
to get
means
out
to
of
an
his
end,
own pain.
means to victory. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe like I'm thinking something like that. So it's like he needs to do it, and he feels no remorse doing it because he's been so burned. He's like, well, hell yeah, it's time for me to get mine.
Mhm.
Like, so I guess that's how I. And
Oh, I
what's funny
totally
is
agree.
because,
Yeah.
sorry, just Mr. Martin is violent too, and
Mhm.
he chooses to still have it, but weaponize it and
They
channel
kind
it,
of
right?
have, they both kind of have the by any means necessary,
Right,
but Benjamin Martin realizes that butchering the enemy is
right,
still not a good means to an end.
right, right.
And he is fighting that urge in him, or that rage that will do that. When Tavington doesn't give a crap,
Yeah,
and he'll just cut down prisoners with no remorse because he sees it as victory,
right,
and he doesn't contain it at all. And Benjamin Martin is fighting to contain it.
right.
And it's funny
Makes it
because
so.
I noticed in the final battle, Benjamin Martin turns away from Tavington, leads the charge, and they hold the line.
Yeah,
Tavington, they show him see it, and like he like gets angry,
yeah,
and then he rides up right in front of Benjamin Martin so Benjamin Martin can see him.
that's right.
He instigates the showdown because he can't let it go, even though he's the one who's been killing Benjamin
Right.
Martin's sons.
He did
Like,
nothing. Well,
exactly.
Yeah,
So I thought that was really interesting, just because Tavington's need for complete and total victory and just crushing his enemies
right.
is actually, it ends up getting him killed, because it brings about an arrogance in him where he's almost invincible when he's not.
Yeah,
And it's just, yeah, and that showdown's so good.
there's a scene in the extended, if you remember, where Cornwallis, the head honcho of the British Army, walks up to Tavington. He's like, "Do not charge early tomorrow. Like your need for
I do, yeah,
victory."
I remember that.
He's like,
Which
"Do
makes
not
much
charge
more
early."
sense when he gets
Yeah,
so mad. And
yeah,
he's like, damn that man,
right. Because
because
he does charge
told
early.
him, do not charge. And then
Yeah,
Tavington does, because
yeah.
Tavington looks through his binoculars and sees Benjamin
Mr.
Martin.
Martin.
Mr. Martin.
So it's like, he just has to go. That's
Yeah.
I think
The
it's
yeah, they play off each other is great. Like Tavington sees him, he can't help but charge.
Yeah.
Benjamin sees him, but he does the right thing instead.
Right. Like he
They
puts
both
it
have
off.
rage towards each other.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great parallel.
And I love how they do it without Mr. Martin seeming or Benjamin seeming weak.
Like a weak, lame hero.
Like a pacifist. He's like, no, violence isn't the answer.
Yeah,
oh, violence is the answer. In this sense, because you're literally doing, it's a showdown.
Yeah.
But he still
like
chooses, and he makes it clear throughout the movie that he hates him. He's not just like,
well, he says before this war is over, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. He's like,
he
why
means
wait?
it.
He's like,
yeah,
and he really glares at him before he leaves. I love that.
So good.
Okay, so this is gonna go by faster than we think. I think. So acting.
Well, where do I start? I think it was very subpar.
Oh, horrible, awful.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Martin
It's
Mel Gibson wasn't cutting
just
this movie.
ridiculous. Yeah. Holy crap. No.
No, I'm just kidding.
What's funny is
I would say
actually it's not as golden as I thought it would be. Like because Mr. Martin, Cavington, Heath Ledger, awesome, right?
oh yeah.
They were flawless performances. I think because there's a lot of kids in this one. So the kids did awesome for what they're supposed to do. Yeah. And and Charlotte's a great character. And I know you said we busted her a lot. But yeah, like it seems that she's really stiff, you know?
Yeah.
Like her character's kind of supposed. What's cool though is that nobody is awkwardly anti-character. Like they all fit so well into who they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you can't really say it was a bad performance because that's who they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it was a little more, I think,
a little more stiff.
And like Anne too, like Gabriel's wife. She's a little stiff.
I agree. Yeah.
For the most part, but
yeah, and it's that just is the characters.
And yet, you know, like it was who they were supposed to be. So you're kind of like, is that a
exactly
flaw? But I mean, I don't know, because if they were supposed to be a character who was like showed as much emotion as say Mr. Martin, and they couldn't, then it's potent.
Then it's more obvious. Yeah,
feels weird.
So it's hard to tell if it is just poor acting or the director's choice and how they wanted them to portray the character.
Yeah.
Or a mixture of both. I don't know. But yeah, aside from them, which I don't want that to sound bad because those are the only two women characters in the film.
There's Abigail. She's awesome.
True. Abigail's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
But aside from that, I feel like, just what I love. Oh my gosh. So I've seen a lot of movies, and so have you, with Mel Gibson in it.
Yeah.
Well, as the lead character. And he is so versatile. Like in every movie, he is someone different.
Like what's that one?
From Signs to Patriot to
is the one with Julia Roberts, The Conspiracy, where he's like the weird guy who's like quirky. Like,
yes, and so like good. Those three characters are completely different.
Yeah.
And he's great.
Yeah.
And then like what's it called? We Were Soldiers.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've seen Bravehearts. Oh my gosh, yes.
Which is a lot like The Patriot in a sense, but different.
It really is.
Like the core story elements are almost the same. Yeah. Although he doesn't die in Patriot. That's a key difference right there.
But yeah, like I said, familiar story trope, but done differently in a different
setting. Yeah, and both of those movies won Sony Awards.
Oh yeah, and Mel Gibson made them both. So,
right.
I mean, he didn't reinvent the wheel.
Right.
He just slapped
he knows how to do it.
Revolutionary War on there, and
it's like
Braveheart,
but it's colonial. Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Still awesome.
But yeah, and then obviously Heath Ledger, who unfortunately has passed away now. But
that's so sad. He's so good.
In every movie I've seen him in, just like from
so good.
Gabriel to the Joker, even like,
right. Just that alone, and I haven't seen him in much aside from those. But just that alone, like you're saying, it's night and day.
Night and day. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, all in all, acting I would say is pretty amazing.
Which is funny because like
involved.
The Joker and Cavington are, I guess I wouldn't say they're that similar, but there is traits in the sense of
similarities.
They'll just want to.
Yeah. Oh, we have the 10-minute mark.
10 minutes will be good, I think. Okay, cinematography.
Okay, cinematography.
The landscape shots were beautiful.
They were, and I love.
It's South Carolina. It's where I
exactly. Yeah, and they went to Charlestown.
It was. I know we freaked out of that line. Like we quote. Okay, before we moved to Charleston, but the night before we left, Nathaniel said that part. He's like, Charlestown, we're going to try. And I was like, we leave in the morning. It was so great.
That's perfect.
And we did. But so it was cool because they filmed it, the entire thing in the state. So it was cool seeing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's like, well, that's all here. You want to go for a drive in the country and see all the beauty, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so cinematography.
I thought some of the battle sequences were really well done.
Dude, I love the way, for me, there's a lot of movies that I really love the way they show muskets in this movie because they're so cool and they're actually really intimidating because like the sound that they make is like they're just these fat metal balls just like cutting through you, you know, and the way they shot the scenes and just it was the most realistic. Well, when I was young, it wasn't like too Hollywood. There was effects and it made a spectacle out of it and everything for sure, but it was a lot more realistic, I thought, than just like just gonna mow them down. It's like, you know, all that stuff. Because you'd fire once and then like take like a full minute to reload because you had to like put the powder. I don't even know how it works. You know, you had to like bite the cartridge, you know, spit it out, something in, and then he's like, you got to put the powder in and just
use the ramrod at the end,
right? Which is why before they,
I know that for sure.
You'll see him running around and like
they're like, you know,
setting up preloaded guns.
Also, exactly, and I loved how they really like historically, and I had to look this up because I saw it in different movies around that time period where when the soldiers would go to shoot, they turn their head away and shoot. And I'm like, why the heck are they doing that? Are they like scared to see if they hit anybody, or are they like? But it's actually
it would freaking explode.
All the sparks, and there's a mini explosion right here, right by their face. So there's like, you know, ash, sparks, heat.
Yeah.
You know, right by their face. So that's when they would turn and then shoot.
Yeah. So like you aim, then you turn and shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like,
and the muskets are long.
Yeah.
They're like 6 feet long or something, or longer. I forget, something like that. But they're crazy long.
Oh
yeah. So yeah, in terms of cinematography, we're not really experts, but it looked nice. I mean, there was no real points that made it look horrible. Okay, script writing.
Whew. I think it was very good. Pretty incredible. And like we said, it's very seamless story. Something familiar yet unique, you know.
Yeah. And then
the lines said, most of them, if not all of them, were. Most of them, I'd say, were pretty good. Well,
90% are really good.
For the main character,
I can't get over Gabriel and Anne and her father's interactions.
Yeah, they're
true. A little, you know,
little cringy. Yeah,
I don't know, because when they're not apart, when they're not together, all those characters are pretty cool, right? But when they're together, for some reason, it just makes it really stiff and kind of like, okay, that was awkward.
Yeah, I agree. That's true.
But aside from that, oh, dude, like, I think the best examples of script writing in the movie are the dialogue between Tavington and Mr. Martin. Like those, and Gabriel and Mr. Martin too. Like when they're in the Old Spanish Mission, that kind of stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah.
The quiet moments, you know, the non-epic moments where it's just about the characters. And you got the time to unwind and just connect with them really well. I think. And
the whole interaction when he tells them the story of Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
And it's just the two of them.
Yeah.
And then the music. It's just
smell it. It's like that haunting.
Exactly. The theme with the horn.
Yeah.
You'll
notice it starts out with that music.
Oh yeah.
Before it goes into the happy music, because the core of the movie is like he's, you know, I have long feared. Like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's scared, you know,
exactly. Like he's a haunted man.
Right.
And then he's scared it'll come to revisit him, and it kind of does, you know. Everything just falls apart.
And the cost is more than you can bear.
Exactly. Yeah.
You gotta watch it if you don't know what I'm talking about. 5 minutes.
But going into music,
dude.
From the start, with that horn and then the lions, and then it carries into the more happy,
right?
Shows the life. But then the consistent theme, like you said, is that horn, the haunting horn.
Right.
There's like the haunting horn, and then there's the triumphant horn that they play for the main theme, and it's just makes you feel. I think it made me feel.
You'll notice what's cool is the haunting horn theme is when he's always talking about Fort Wilderness in his past, right? When's the last time they played that theme?
Oh, dang it. See if I can remember.
Remember? It's when he knocks the hatchet out of his
head.
And
you're
it's
right.
The hatchet he used in the French and Indian War.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It's like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It's going away.
Yes.
You know? Like it's the completion. It's over.
That's the last time he touches it too. Because I mean, they don't show him picking it up. Maybe he did.
Yeah. So it's like it's it's the culmination of that whole plot. And I thought it was
exactly,
really,
yeah.
yeah. Because last night I was like, oh, that's it. It's going away.
Yeah.
It was so yeah. And then
Cool.
the holy crap, 348. Aside from that, the triumphant music, that's good too. But the classic, the da, 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 all that
Yes.
is it's not so much, there's not as much poetic parts to it as there is with the horn, because that's, you know, Benjamin Martin's story, his background.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, regardless, just purely on an auditory level, it's beautiful, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just yeah, on so many ways. Okay, meaning. Now this is it's more potent because it's a, I mean, it's kind of a simple meaning, freedom, right?
Yeah,
but the way they go about it, like we were saying,
I mean, for Mr. Martin, it's like overcoming his demons, which I guess that's most movies in a lot of ways.
Right.
And which I feel, well, which is why the setting and the way it's told is so important, because a lot of stories are they rhyme, you know.
Yeah.
Like they don't really, some of them repeat. They're not exact repeats, but they rhyme because they're very similar.
Exactly.
So
because it's no wonder certain stories will take off, you know. Look at look at all
and it's the stories that they really connect to. Like you can really connect with maybe a Benjamin Martin, some people,
right?
And even people who haven't experienced things like that in a certain way still can. And the point of him, well, like he doesn't succumb to his revenge,
right?
And he, like, in that way he survives,
which is good because he almost does. Mm-hmm. Not in the sense of like revenge, but he is almost just gives up, you know. Mm-hmm. After Gabriel dies, he's just like, what the hell, you know. He's done, right? He's almost back to where he was at the beginning, where he's just done with it, like he's too exhausted, right? But then, you know, seeing the flag and everything, it's then he becomes a patriot, and everyone goes huzzah, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the culmination of everything trickling down to where he is completed at the end. His story arc is completed,
right? Which is why that person's review makes no sense.
Exactly.
Anyway, okay, a minute 26. Holy crap, we gotta rank these things.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I thought we were good on time.
We're good too. Okay, movie breakdown, rapid fire. This is gonna be honest, right? Movie breakdown. Yes. What about you?
Oh yeah, I said yes. Yep.
Oh, you did. Okay. Character development. Yes.
Yes.
Antagonist, protagonist. Yes.
Yes.
Acting. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Cinematography. Yes. It's pretty much all gonna be yes. I feel like it can't be a golden movie.
I'm gonna say cinematography, no, just in the sense of it didn't rely on it. So
right. That's good, because I was gonna say script writing, no, because I really can't get over those scenes with Anne and her dad.
Okay, I'm gonna say yes on script writing, and then music, yes, for both of us, I'm sure as well.
Yeah, and then meaning,
yes.
Okay, so we each gave it 1 X, but it totally won.
Exactly,
it passed the gauntlet.
That wraps it up.
Next week
we have less than a minute left, so next week maybe Super 8.
Maybe Super 8. That'll be a good one. I love Super 8.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and comment below, and we'll see you next week.
Exactly. Ciao.